continuing session. We have some breakout sessions next, and then we'll get back together as a large group again for the network at noon. But I'd like to welcome our three panelists here. Some of you have heard from Sudian and Skylar already, but if we could just have you introduce yourself again and talk about what job you're holding right now, and then we'll start in with some of the questioning. Thank you, Sudi. We'll have you start.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sudian Robinson, and I think we've met before, but I'm a research technician at Cornell University in the Department of Microbiology and Immunology at vet school. I've mainly studied neurodegenerative diseases and key mechanisms to opening the blood-brain barrier. And yeah, I graduated in 2012 with a major in biochemistry.
I don't think the mic is on.
So it should be great.
No?
Hello everyone, my name is Mohammed. I'm currently a bank teller / personal banker / customer service rep at Tompkins Trust Company, which is here in Ithaca. I currently work at the Cornell branch, and I just graduated last May with my business administration degree with a concentration in marketing and a legal studies minor.
Hi everyone, my name is Skylar Griffenberg. I was a health science manager in HP. Currently I'm a pharmaceutical sales representative for Allergan Pharmaceuticals.
Thank you folks very much. I'll start out with the first question just to get things rolling, but what went well for you folks on your first job, or what is going well if you're still there?
Okay, for me, I already spoke about the fact that a lot of the things I learned in college is actually applicable to my job. And so things that I knew, for instance, cell culture for a biologist subject, I tried to make sure I do a lot of that, and I pushed it. I make sure I was in charge of the cell lines and all the things that I was good at. I made sure I made that presence felt, that I knew what I was doing. I also was open to learning a lot of things, and that's one of the things. It's not just about what you know, because for any new experience you're going to be a lot of things that you don't know. So I was very open. And luckily my lab is very open to teaching me the techniques, and so it was very easy for me to kind of catch on. But it was difficult at first. I had to spend a lot of time down there, as I told the group previously. I worked with a lot of mice, and so I had to spend a lot of my time perfecting that skill in the mouse room with the mice there, day in, day out, to learn how to collect the organs and learn how to do all the things that I needed to for my job. So you have to have that open mind to learn. Learning doesn't stop in college. You actually have to do it in the workplace as well.
This is kind of to add to what Sudian just said. I came into a very particular situation. I started at Tompkins Trust, and the full-time teller that was there was just leaving, so I didn't really have much guidance and apart from my training. Except my manager was also helping me with that, and then let's say a month later, the part-timer that was there also left. So I was there maybe I think 2 months in, just me and my manager, just having to run the whole entire branch, deposits, you name it, a whole bunch of Cornell students coming in and whatnot. So it was definitely a learning experience. Like Sudian said, like, you have to be open to like learning. It doesn't stop after you graduate. Everything I've learned, like I've learned from scratch. Like I have a whole new set of new skills that I never had before. But I also went in there very eager, and like when people left, I was ready to step up. So like definitely be ready to step up when like your name is called.
Yeah, I mean, definitely on the eagerness. When you're young, I think they love like the enthusiasm, because I think everyone will have that naturally because you're here and you want to succeed, but they love seeing that enthusiasm and eagerness, which kind of I think will promote like the relationships you have with your coworkers and stuff like that. But the thing that went well for me, 2 things I think was just kind of just learning how to work, just going to work every day and you're picking up the phones, you're just learning, you're not going to class anymore, you're not doing stuff like that, you're just learning how to work and what it's going to be like. And then I think if you're lucky enough to get into an organization where they're like willing to help you and teach you, and my supervisor in my previous job was very she's like one of my best friends now, and so they're willing to help you and tell you where because of your eagerness and passion, enthusiasm, they'll be honest with you, like this is where you could do better, this is where, and it's just a normal conversation. So I think just that eagerness transition to learning where you can do better, and hopefully they can help you out.
We talked in the last session a little bit about excitement and anxiety. What was your first day like?
Getting lost in the room. The bottom floor of the hospital is a maze. It's literally a maze. You go through so many doors. I got lost like 50 million times going anywhere. But I think for me it was just realizing that I'm now in a position of authority and I have students and I have people looking up to me. I was a resident assistant here on campus, so it kind of helped that I was responsible for a group of people and I knew how to run an organization and all that stuff. That really helped. But it's just about, I guess it was a fear of these are criminal people, they're going to think I'm dumb or something, like if I say I don't know. But I learned over time that you have to realize what you can't do and not be afraid to ask for help, because it's very important. If you pretend like you know and you screw something up, for me, if I screw up one part, the whole experiment goes down. And if the experiment goes down, you can get fired. Real thing. Like getting fired is something that we should also have back in our head. Like it's not a great feeling. So you have to try to put your best foot forward and to realize that there are things that you won't know and you can't do, and it's better that you ask for help and just do things up.
I think that my first day was I didn't know what was going on because banking, like when you learn as a business student, I took financial accounting, so like all the business classes we have to take. You learn about credits and debits, but in the banking world, like it's actually opposite. So the only thing that helped is like I like being around money. So like to be surrounded by that much of money, like it was easy for me. I felt comfortable in that environment. But in terms of like the job function itself, I didn't know what I was doing, what was going on. Like she said, like, you have to learn like every job unless it's engineering or like things that you need requirements in school. Most jobs you probably learn from scratch. So for me, it was definitely it was a hard day to get through. But once I got through that first day, I think my first day was on a Thursday too. We had that Friday off, so it gives you time like over the weekend to think about like what you're doing, like how you're doing this, and when you come back on Monday, you're ready to go. So it was really exciting, learning new things and things like that. But my first day was definitely a learning experience, and don't be afraid to ask questions if you don't know like what's going on. I'm lucky because we work in computers. I can always reverse out a transaction or like close out an account, whatever. I mean, by mistake or whatever, but. Definitely ask questions because, especially when dealing with people.
For the first couple of days, I went through some good training with both jobs. So, but the actual on the job, the first couple of days, like the first 3 weeks of my previous job, like I really remember calling my mom at lunch, and I was like, I'm so busy right now. Like, I don't even know like what's going on. And, like, but and eventually that was like, I'm not busy anymore because I know how to do it. So, but you need that though. You need that like you're just clicking things and things are just moving and you don't really know what's happening. But like you're doing it. So, you kind of need that to build the growth and to build those moments that they build growth. It helps you better. So I think at first you're gonna be like overwhelmed, but you need that to learn how to do it.
Thank you, folks. Can I open up the questions to you folks to ask questions of our panel?
Hi, my name is Chelsea. So I guess one question that I have for each of you is, have you ever screwed up at work, or have you noticed somebody like you work, the people that you work with, did they messed up, and how did they overcome that experience, or what did you learn from that experience?
So a about, I think 2 months ago, like right before the winter break, I had an incident where a customer came in and was looking for these checks that would be, he wrote checks for his landlord, and he didn't see them come through, so he wanted to put a stop payment on the check. So when you put a stop payment, essentially you cancel the check, it's not valid anymore. And I told him that the checks had come through. And he came back after winter break, and one of the checks actually had like come through, and he was really upset, because you told me my check didn't come in, and this isn't you gave me the wrong information. You're my bank. I'm supposed to be able to trust you. All these things, and I was there. The first thing I told him, I was like, dude, first of all, don't talk to me like that. But you're not supposed to do that, honestly. But he was really upset, and then. Through that experience, though, I learned more about due diligence. So what that is that taking the time and actually looking at everything thoroughly, because it was there. It's something that I missed. I was just looking in the right place, or I didn't look enough, or whatever the case may be. So when you're in a workplace, you just kind of, because the customer is always right, at least in the customer service setting, right? So you always want to look at back what you did and how you can improve that. So in my case, I didn't do due diligence and thoroughly look through these statements because the check was there and I just missed it. And granted, it was an honest mistake. Things like that, you can't always afford to make those kind of mistakes. My manager, she was upset, but once again, we're all human. You're in the workforce. You're not going to lose your job over a mistake, but if you keep doing the same mistakes and you don't learn from them, then that's a different story.
Yeah, I guess for me, when I first started, I was taking over for a previous research technician, and it was an accumulation of things why she got fired. It wasn't just this one incident. However, let me start from the beginning. When we have mice, you have to breed them a certain way for you to get a specific genotype that is necessary to carry on the further experiment. So it starts from your mouse. And she was breeding these mice incorrectly. And so we were wondering, why are the experiments failing? And when I started working there and doing all the back checks and whatnot, I realized that the breeding was wrong. And so what I had to tell my boss, because an error like that is very detrimental. The mouse, it takes a lot of money to keep them, for one, and it takes a lot of money to carry out all these experiments and not get anything out of it because of the wrong breeding. And so I told my boss about it, and we had to have that big conversation. And I guess it was for the previous research technician, it was her last straw, so she got let go earlier than she should have been. But I guess everyone, we're all human, and as Barry said, it really is. If you are constantly doing the same things that you've been spoken to, it's not like they're going to just fire right off the bat. You have grace periods, you have probationary periods. They will tell you, they will talk to you, and they'll try to help you at first, but it all depends on your willingness to change and to be better. Because we're all human and we make mistakes, and sometimes you can't control that. But not saying that you make one mistake and you're out the door. No. They'll work with you a lot of times.
Yeah, I remember with the phones are ringing a lot in my previous job, and you're checking people in, and you're just doing a bunch of things. A bunch of little things like clicks here and there, and you're putting in appointments or scheduling certain tests and stuff like that, that something's bound to go wrong because you're just doing so much. But I remember one time I had scheduled a patient into the EMR, and I think I put it in the wrong date, and so he didn't really have an appointment. He came all the way from Long Island into Manhattan, and there was no appointment available for him, and he was like, Skylar told me that, blah, blah, blah. So, but then you see, there was a mistake I made, and it was fine. I was good at my job, so it didn't matter. And my supervisor, you see your supervisor interact, and the supervisor comes out, and then you learn. You see how she handled the situation with the patient. But what Barry was saying with you learn from it, and you don't do it again, and that's kind of you pick up on it, and you keep moving on. And then one thing I would say is that you learn these things, and then you just pick up on it. So everything will happen naturally. I know you guys are probably wondering how you're going to learn all this information, but it happens naturally.
questions? Oh,
Hello? Hello? Oh, okay. This is odd. Do you ever have a day where you just weren't feeling your job? Like, this is not what I want to do. And how do you guys overcome that? Because, you got to start somewhere, right? Because experience, apparently, you need so much experience just to have a job, Get my question.
It's not every day you're gonna get up and be like, beautiful day. Hold the mics up and being on your awesome. Yeah, no. There are gonna be many days that you're not gonna feel it, but you can't show that, especially for me, working with these perky students coming in. I'm like, what are you on? Like, I need to get on that or something. Because how you maintain, you have to learn to maintain that air of professionalism, and also that you gotta be happy for others too sometimes. I mean, and we have to understand that we're human. You're not gonna be happy all the day and everything, but you have to remain professional sometimes. You can't just good morning to you too. Especially in a customer service based kind of job, you have to know how to step up to that and just put on your facade or whatever it is that makes you go and make you happy or make you feel that way, and you go do what you gotta do. It's not every day that you're gonna get up and be happy about it. At least not for me. I love what I do, don't get me wrong, I love it completely, but there are days, depending on your life and whatnot, that is just not gonna feel it. And it's okay, just as long as you know how to control that.
I mean, it's, this is like, you're going to work every day. This is your life now. So, I mean, there's days where it's, I don't really want to go to work, but I'm going to go to work because I have to. And there's days where you're like happy and you're jumping around or whatever. So, I think it just kind of comes with, maturing and stuff like that. The one thing, go ahead, because I got to put it together.
Yeah, I think that we definitely have a lot of days where you don't, you contemplate going to work. The way I overcome is coffee. Personally, yeah, coffee is like, and like, you don't appreciate coffee until you graduate. That's another story. But on another note, I think that, dealing with customers and dealing with people, it teaches you a lot of patience. Sometimes they take away from you so much, they drain you. But like Sulian said, whatever it is, at the end of the day, you still have to be professional about it. This is your workspace. For me, I have student loans now. I have all these kind of crazy things that I have to worry about. If I don't work, I can't pay those things off. So I have to work for that at least. But what I do want to say is that do not be oblivious to certain feelings that you feel. If you feel too many times that you don't want to get up and go to work, then maybe there's something wrong. Maybe you're not liking your job. You know what I mean? So definitely look at what you do, how you experience your job and the things that you're looking at. And I think that, especially your first year on the job, most of the things, the things that you experience that you go through, allows you to really figure out if this is the right field for you, or if there's something else that you should be doing. So I work in banking, but I have a passion for education, working with kids, that's something that I can't get out of my mind. Every day I go to work, I still think about it, you know what I mean? So, I don't know.
I mean, and especially if you don't know, what you want to do, I think, and I remember even Julie telling me about, Memorial Sloan Kettering, it's your first job. I would even advise, get an idea of, what you want, and then it's your first, you learn so much, and things will just change, and you realize what you want, that, just get that first job, and just, the skills will transfer, they'll be transferable to anything, and then you kind of just figure it out. There were days, these patients are yelling at you on the phone, and it's I think I'm better than what I'm doing, but you learn so much, and then you kind of have that motivation and eagerness to, if you want to move on to something else, and you start working for it. So, you learn that process, you learn so much from that first job, that, what's next, and it just flows together. So.
And just to add on to that, I graduated in May 2015, so it hasn't been a full year I graduated, and I can tell you this past 8 months has been life-changing for me, just because there's a lot of things that college does not prepare you for. I do say that me being involved in like my student works in the business school and all these things has helped like my customer service aspect of it, me being able to talk to people and working with people. But everything is new, you know, when you get out, like everything is a learning experience, honestly, at least for me. And like I can say that whether it's bad lessons or good lessons, like, you learn so much, especially on the job. And when you look at it in the grand scheme of things, like 20 years from now, maybe 15 years from now, like you'll be like, well, that was a bad experience, but I'm glad I went through that. You know? So.
To add on top of that, I think everything you've done here, whatever you were involved in, is definitely useful because it gives you the fundamentals. But what you learn, and it's not your guys' fault, you don't have the exposure to it. You just don't know like what's coming in. But learning it is like it's kind of like interesting to see. It's kind of awesome once if things are going well for you and everything. So just learning that all the information you're gonna learn in that first job and just how things work, it's very valuable. School can't teach it to you. There's just no way. These things try and help you prepare, but the fundamentals that you guys, whatever you were involved with at the school and how you did in class and stuff like that, it all gives you that base and to learn what you're about to learn when you go into the workplace.
Other questions?
Currently thesis or media major. So how do you differentiate between being a new eager employee and, excuse my language, a kiss ass?
Good question.
I mean, it's.
It depends. As a new employee, you want to get on good terms with everyone. Obviously, you're new and you're the new guy, and you're gonna be all chirpy and perky. But you have to, within yourself, I think that's something more internal that you have to figure out when you are crossing the line and to kind of hold back a little bit if it's too much. But I guess I don't understand kissing. I don't understand that part because you have to do a lot of that as a first year, like especially in business. I guess some of those fields, like you start from the bottom till you're there, not there yet, but yeah. So I guess it's more of something that you have to figure out within yourself that you can find that level ground that works for you and everybody else that you're working with, and keep it there.
I think it depends also like on the industry that you're in. But the thing is like just do what you're told. Do what you're told. Ask questions and just be very show that you're just doing your work. Show that you're asking these questions because you want to just do a better job. And I think if you're not like flirting with that threshold of like obviously you're trying to get on someone's good side. I think if you're doing what you're told to do and you're asking questions and showing that you want to do your job better, like they're going to think highly of you. So I don't think you need to really take it to that next level. I mean, I have some friends. So I have some friends who work on Wall Street and stuff. So I think it depends on the industry because I feel like that may be more like a feel thing where they kind of have to feel it out. And so I think it depends on the industry. But I think if you're doing what you're told to do and you're asking questions on how to do it better and just being friendly on how's your day going, nothing over the top, just being completely normal, then I think that's really the key.
I definitely agree with what has been said here. I think that definitely depends on your industry. There's nothing wrong with like he said, if you do your job and you have questions, like you want to find out something, even if it's not part of like your job description, if you just want to know, like it's okay for you to ask that question. It's more so internal. Like when do you feel like you're doing too much? You know what I mean? When do you feel like what's the purpose of am I just trying to get on the good side? You know what I mean? By all means, you want to have mentors. You want to be on everybody's good side. When you come in, but like you don't want to lose yourself and like what you value and like all of that. You know what I mean? So if you in the field where you feel like that's what you have to do, because like frankly, like there are some fields that are like that. If you're in the field that you feel comfortable with the aspect of it, and like, once again, it's not for you, you know. There's nothing wrong with like if something is not for you, you can just move on to the next thing. As hard as it may sound, like, it's really that easy too.
Other
I think,
questions?
yeah.
Go ahead, Scott, go ahead, go ahead.
And you mentioned mentors, and I think that's really huge. That's why I mentioned in the other panel, informational interviews and like LinkedIn, and talking to your friends, parents, and just chatting with them. Because if they see you're interested, they may like take you under their wing. Like I've had a couple family friends that, you know, I'm new to all this, so I have no idea like what to expect. They've been parents and your friends and family friends, they've been in this situation before, so they know they can give you like guidance and advice on how to approach a certain situation or things you should be doing, and you can just bounce ideas off them. So you can kind of create that like little network, just, you know, with friends, parents, whoever it is, they'll hopefully they can kind of take you under their wing and you can bounce ideas off them as well.
Other questions?
Hi, my name is Nyasha, and I'm a senior in School of Business. Have you ever received criticism from constructive criticism from your superiors, and how did you deal with it? And also, my second question is that, have you ever been in a team or been asked to work with a colleague who is really difficult to get along with or work with? And how did you manage to get things done and, you know, still be a team even though you're so different in ideologies, views, and everything? Thank you.
Okay, definitely forgot the first question. Constructive criticism.
Yeah.
Right,
How'd you
yeah.
handle criticism?
All right, yeah. So I've definitely received constructive criticism. Once again, it has to be constructive. I think that there's no harm in that. You know, if somebody tells you if you do something, if you make a mistake, or you know, somebody tell you what's a better way or like a faster way to do something. You know, I don't like when people tell me how to do my job. Like I want to work the way I want to work. Like honestly, because everybody has different styles of working. You know, like, as long as you get the job done and you follow procedures and the job is done, it's fine. But like, I don't have to do it the way that you want me to do it necessarily. You know, so like, be okay in the style that you work in when you're in the workplace, because they always have the right way to do things. But if that's not your right way to do things, you can still get there. Like, get there at the end of the day. You know. But once again, definitely know the fine line between like constructive criticism and somebody just trying to come at you. You know, like trying to bash you for whatever it is. There's a fine line. My second thing is, yes, I have worked with, I think most people have worked with somebody that, you know, difficult to work with and whatnot. But once again, it all comes back to being professional. You know, like, it's your workplace. It's not your friends necessarily. You know, you might go to happy hour with someone after work, but like, it's your workplace at the end of the day. You know, like, you're not there to be buddy and like friends with everybody. Like, you're there to work. And, like, that's what the company needs you for. So if you can contribute, like, just make sure that you can contribute to the company and be professional about it. You know, like, everybody's different. Like, you're not gonna see eye to eye with everybody. You know, but honestly, as hard as it's going to be, you have to be professional. You know, I'm not saying it's easy, but you really have to be professional about everything.
Yeah, I think listening to constructive criticism was one of the hardest things for me my first year. Because it is, you have to do a first year evaluation after getting a job at Cornell. And so my boss called me and then she was like, okay, we have to talk about these things and what's going well and what's not going well. And for me, knowing the type of person I am, I'm very goal driven, and I want to do my job to the best possible way that I can do it. So to sit and to listen to her. She didn't like have a lot to say, but even one for me is a huge thing. That's a Ben and Jerry night again. Just one bad criticism. So, you know, it was very difficult, but at the same time, that's what's going to help you to grow and how to help you to be better at what you do. If no one criticizes you, then you're going to keep, and you're doing something inappropriate or wrong or something, then you're never going to know. Like, so I took it I had to program my mind to think, okay, this is for the better. This is how I can improve. This is how I will get to be a better form of myself. So that's how I handled that situation. And I mean, from now on, even after like talking to her about it and talking to my boss about it and saying that this is a real struggle for me to hear someone criticize my work, she understood, and she actually appreciated the fact that I said that to her. I told her that this is very difficult for me, and so she was very understanding to that, and helped me to overcome it to be even a better technician. For the second question, yes, my undergrads, puny. They cry about everything. My face is like the one day they're like, oh my gosh, she's so mean to me. Really? Okay. So there are going to be people that are different from you, and that's the beauty of diversity and how having many different backgrounds, and you're not going to see eye to eye. Just this week, there was a huge standoff, I guess. It wasn't a standoff with one of my postdocs. I wrote an email. I guess it's ill of me, but I put, please put it back in capital and 4 exclamation points. And he went, I sent it to everyone in the lab, mind you. He went ballistic about it. I was like, you should not do that. And you were talking to me specifically? I didn't. I was talking to everyone in the lab. I was a little bit upset at how things were being kept. But I remained professional, and I said, okay, fine, I understand that that might be something that you don't like. Maybe because my boss has been doing that to him for many, many weeks now, so he was very sensitive to that. And I realized that, okay, I said to him, I understand, and I won't put things in caps and use that many exclamation points next time. That's okay. But you just have to find out, ways to work. And now we're our best friends again. And, we will stand up and then we're best friends again, because we have to work together in a few minutes anyway, so we have to get over it real quickly. So, yes, you will work with difficult people at times, and yes, it will be very hard, but as Barry said, you have to remain professional and, get over it. You're here to do do it, and do a good job at it too, regardless of who you're working with. You have to make it work.
In terms of criticism, I think, I had weekly meetings with my supervisor, and, it was a great experience for me, and she's, the people I work with now, a couple of new graduates who I'm very close with now. My supervisor got promoted at Sloan Kettering, so I'm very close with her. And so it was a really friendly environment. The one thing, and this was her, we have a performance appraisal review, and everything went well. The one thing, and we're literally very good friends, me and my supervisor. And she's like, and me, I'm very energetic, and I can be goofy at times, goof off and stuff like that. She's like, I was lucky to work with people who we got along, so you're not gonna have that everywhere. She's like, going forward, you really should watch it, because you can't just be goofing around all the time. And it makes it fun, but that was something that I need to work on. That's kind of the maturing process that I'm going through, so that's something that I need to watch. And she's my friend, she's my supervisor, she's constructive criticism. So there are always things that you can work on. And then the working with someone difficult, I've gone through that. And I think, for me, I think everyone kind of has, views may be different, views may be similar, but professionalism is kind of just, you kind of just let them embarrass themselves, in my mind. You do what you're supposed to do. You interact with them when you're supposed to interact with them, and you just don't butt heads. And that's, if they're, you're not, that's how I thought of it. This person, I let her embarrass herself. When we interact, we talk about what we're supposed to talk about, and then now I just kept doing what I was supposed to do. So I think, and I think everyone kind of has different approaches to it. So but that's kind of.
Other questions?
Hi, my name is Samantha Peter, and I'm a senior journalism major. And I was wondering, what is one thing that you wish you knew or that someone had told you before going into the professional world?
Getting up early. So I left those 8 o'clock classes after college. But one thing I wish I were told is just the main thing of experience, that I needed much more than what the college has to offer, and I shouldn't limit myself to the experiences here. It's great here, and it's a wonderful school and everything, and honestly the teachers here have really nurtured us to kind of prepare us as best as they can. But I would have loved somebody to kind of push me to go to other universities, bigger universities, summer programs and stuff like that to gain much more insight into what it is really to work in a research facility, in a lab, working in a huge lab where you have 6 or 7 people, you have 20 different projects and balancing all of this and trying to have something called a life. That part was really difficult for me, just to balancing being new and being thrown into this environment where you're responsible for people, going to work every day and back, and even Saturday and Sunday, you want me to come in on a Saturday and a Sunday? Really? So that was a bit hard for me to find at first, and I wish somebody had told me a little bit more about what it is to work in the research facility, a bigger one.
I have a story about the whole waking up early thing. So like that's I had to learn the hard way for me at least. So I just graduated and in college you can get away with emailing your professor, hey, I'm sick today, I won't be coming in. Like that's fine. You paying for your credits. In the workforce, I try to pull that off. I think it was a month in. Like I woke up and honestly I was just tired. It was one of those days, and I just emailed her. I'm like, I won't be able to come in today. I'm sick or whatever. And then she was fine. And I get paid either way. So I came in the next day, and then there was a talk about like I hear it's been a month or so, like you haven't done your probationary period, and all these things, and I'm like, wow, like it's actually like a big deal to this work, like people rely on you, you have responsibilities, and you can't approach it the way that you approach college, so like she said, like waking up early every day, being to work from 8 o'clock to 5 o'clock, yeah, like that has to be something that I had to get used to, so like waking up every day, you might not think it's a thing, but it's actually, you have to get used to that thing, waking up every time. One thing that I do wish I knew before I graduated, I wish that I would have spent more time researching the things I'm passionate about. So I think that I got my degree in business administration, but most of the times, most people don't end up always getting jobs in the field that they degrees in necessarily. So like if you're still in school, especially as a senior, like I would advise to like take your time and really research what you're passionate about. So like you can do that when you graduate. Like if it's about sport, whatever it is, like there's something that you can do. It's all about the research and how you go about it. You know what I mean? Like you don't want to work somewhere and then look back and be like, I wish I would have done this differently. Like I found myself, wishing that I would have done more research on like the job I work at, where I work. I wanted to be in New York City. Like all these things necessarily didn't happen, and like that all comes with research. So definitely do more research. And internships. It's hard to get a job without experience. I'm sure you already know that. But having internships, not only does it give you skills, it also gets you use like the workforce to some aspects. So, like when you come in, like everything's not shop. I felt like I was thrown in a whole different world when I graduated. Where people that's like 40 years older than you, like it's crazy.
I think the thing that I wish, and then there's like no way to know this until you like go through it, so it's so hard for someone, but that's where mentors and stuff like come into play. For me, because I didn't really know what I wanted to do, and now this job I'm like, so far, it's been a couple weeks, but I'm very happy, so it's that, I wish someone told me that it's a like it may take some time, you know what I mean, and the things you need to do to get where you want, like those things that I needed to do. So in terms of, there's gonna be times where you get discouraged, like no one's calling you back, or I've spoken to people, they told me to read like certain books and stuff like that, and that like actually helped, like in kind of formulating like what. So like people can be so knowledgeable, and like if you don't really know like what you want to do, like there's like a process that eventually may take some time, but I just wish I was more mentally prepared for like how I needed to do things, but like there's no way someone can prepare you for that. So.
Any more questions? Are there promotional opportunities where you're currently working, or what are you looking to do next, either within that organization or another organization?
Well, for me, I might be going to grad school school there at Cornell University in the fall. However, I always wanted to become a medical doctor, and so I'm not giving up completely on that dream. I may pursue that, but probably from a research-based perspective, so maybe an MD, PhD in the future. So, and in terms of promotion, yeah, there are promotional opportunities to lab manager or associate scientist, or you never know. When you get your first job, you try to make connections. It's obviously your first job, and you might have others to come, but you try to make connections with people and talk to them and all that kind of thing, because at the end, it was a little bit easier for me to get into grad school there, since the whole department, everybody knows you, you work collaboratively with different labs, and you get to talk to different people who are willing to support you and to say, yes, we believe in you and we want to give you a spot. So I would suggest you just keep the contact with others and keep in contact with people that you work with. You never know who you talk to. It's also about who you know in the field. In terms of promotional and stuff, it's different in different jobs. But for me, you can move on to research technician 4 or associate scientist. Or there's a lot more that you can do. You can go to pharmaceutical companies and you get paid more, probably nicer. But it's very repetitive and boring. No, I'm just saying it because I work in that. But yeah, there are opportunities there for you, just depending on your field.
There are at Tompkins Trust, which is here in town, there definitely promotional opportunities. I think that I've been blessed enough working at the Cornell branch. What we do there, so for those of you who don't know, so banking has different departments: retail banking, commercial, the whole loan department aspect of it. So essentially, I'm in retail banking, right? So in retail banking, there's different stages of positions. Like within that, so there's teller, senior teller, assistant risk manager, and then customer service rep. Then if you want to go somewhere else, you can or whatever. But at Cornell, because we're in we're a small branch, we're in such like special location that we have to do everything. So opening accounts, customer service, like you name it, like dealing with frauds, credit cards. We have to do everything there, as opposed to like other branches where people are just used to just doing like straight deposits and like cash and checks or whatever. So being there, less than a year, doing all these functions. 2 weeks ago, I just got promoted. So that's a good thing. I think that my experiences there, doing all these different functions, it's definitely helped me gain that promotion. And like, I don't hear, it's a good thing because you don't hear many people say they got promoted within like 7 months of working. So it's a good thing that that happened. So it just keeps things in perspective. Like even if you don't love your job or you don't like it, definitely work hard. I think that in the future, this experience has allowed me to really see that I like working with students, being at Cornell and whatnot, but I want to do it different.
Other ways you can go, the marketing department, and sales training. So for me, that was kind of something that I was really looking for, because like Barry said, now he knows that he wants to go back. You don't know what's coming as you start to learn. So I don't know in this job like where I'm going to be really good at. Is it going to be like I'm actually just good at the sales part, so I'm just going to keep doing that, or maybe I'm good at like teaching the sales, so I can go into sales training, or maybe I'm really into how the drug works and I want to help the marketing team promote that. So I think, and that first job kind of let me get to where I am now. So the options, you learn that where you want to keep your options open. So.
Thank you folks very much. I think we're going to conclude now.